The pursuit of happiness is a most ridiculous phrase. If you pursue happiness, you'll never find it. Woo! Hey, what a statement that is. Controversial, hey? I wonder what Carrie Snow was thinking when she made that statement and how accurate actually is it. Let's dive into that and actually interrogate this very intriguing subject. Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Mr. K. Thank you so much for joining me as we continue on this journey of discovery, you and I together. So if you're new here, please do the right thing. Like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and let's have a conversation about happiness today, or at least the pursuit thereof. It's an interesting phrase if you think about it. The pursuit of happiness. There have been books that have been written about it, and there was, of course, that famous film in 2006 with Will Smith and his son. And this creates a desire within us. When you hear that phrase, it creates a desire within you to pursue this thing called happiness. But first of all, you need to define what happiness is. And I say you need to define it because happiness means different things for different people. It's not the same thing for everybody. Because what makes me happy might not even bother you. But what makes you happy, I find completely ridiculous or even nonsensical. So it's relative. That's the truth of the matter. Happiness is relative. But the pursuit of it isn't. And this is what I want us to talk about this afternoon. Now, you may have been socialized or you may have been influenced to believe that happiness is something that ought to be pursued, that happiness is something that ought to be chased, that in life you must just want to be happy. I mean, everything around our culture says pursue happiness. From the music we listen to, I just want to be happy. Remember that song and many songs like it. And I mentioned the movie. And of course, there are television shows that are all about you pursuing happiness and you being happy. And that being the ultimate objective of life is for you to be happy. I'm sorry, but I'm going to burst that bubble with this statement here. Happiness is not a pursuit. Happiness is not a goal to be pursued. Happiness is a result. Happiness is an outcome. You don't go seeking happiness. You get happiness from what you do. You get happiness from... Happiness is always a result of something. It can be a result of a pursuit. You can pursue something that will then make you happy. Example, you out there who are parents, when you decided to have children, did you do it because you wanted to be happy? Honestly, probably not. Okay? You did it because you just had a desire to be a parent, to become a parent. Okay? Now that desire could have come from anywhere. It could have come from your background. It could have come from you being raised in a loving home. You wanted to create that loving atmosphere for your own family. So you decided to create that. Then you did. Then you had children. That moment when you held your firstborn in your hands, you felt happiness. You were happy at that moment. You didn't pursue to be happy when you had the child. You were happy as a result of having the child. Happiness was an outcome in that situation. It wasn't the objective. Another example. You get a promotion at work. Now you got the promotion because you're a hard worker, perhaps, and you are highly skilled at what you do. And man, when you got that promotion, you were happy. Once again, when you got the promotion, you weren't looking for happiness. You were looking to advance your career. You were looking perhaps for better pay. You were looking to advance in the company and move to a position of seniority. Or perhaps you just wanted to see yourself become better. You were on a mission to improve your life. And in that pursuit of improving your life, you found happiness. Is it starting to make sense? So now, the issue here is that we need to understand that when we pursue happiness, we are setting ourselves up for failure. So let's look at that side for a minute. And this is where it's going to get personal. I want you to think of somebody, anybody that you know, who is pursuing happiness. Are they actually happy? I'm talking about people who pursue happiness in everything that they do. Perhaps you've got people who pursue happiness at work. Those tend to be the most unstable people. They are forever moving from job to job because guess what? I wasn't happy there. No, I wasn't happy. I didn't like the way they were treating me. And then they move on to the next job, looking for happiness. No, I don't like. They're so mean. They're so mean. Who goes to work for the niceness of the job or the niceness of the environment? Nobody. At least we shouldn't, right? And then, of course, there are the relationship people. Can we have a moment for them? Getting into relationships because you want to be happy. And I mean all relationships. I mean platonic relationships, romantic relationships, business relationships, whatever relationship it is. You get into a relationship because you want to be happy. My brother, my sister, you are setting yourself up for a lifetime of misery because that ain't going to happen. Pursuing happiness is nothing but setting yourself up for failure and misery. It's not a wise thing to do. You'll forever be moving on from relationship to relationship. You'll forever be moving on from one thing to the next. You'll forever be looking into the horizon, hoping and wishing that someday this thing called happiness will find you. When in actual fact, happiness is something that is a result of you doing something meaningful to you. So I'll give you a personal example since I said I'm making it personal. I remember the first time I got on stage and performed. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is that I did exactly. All right? You'll find that out later as we get to know each other a bit more. So I remember I got on stage that night and I was super nervous just before I went on. And I was thinking about my routine, my performance, what I was going to do, when I was going to do it, how I was going to do it. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss my cues, that I was on point with everything that I had prepared for that moment. That was my sole focus, was to put on the best performance possible and for me to execute on my objectives. Now, it was by no means a flawless performance. It had its flaws, and that's okay. That's fine. But overall, I hit the mark. I did what I'd set out to do, and I enjoyed it. I had fun. When I got off that stage, it was one of the happiest moments of my life. Why? Because I fulfilled a childhood dream. I did something I had always wanted to do. And guess what? That moment brought me so much happiness and fulfillment. It was incredible. So there you go, yet another example where happiness was a result. And I know that it's the same for you as well. Now, I would be completely remiss if I didn't refer to, speaking about happiness, the maker of all things, the creator of you and I, the creator of this universe. Let's delve into his mind a little bit and find out what he says about happiness. And of course, for that, we go straight into the Word of God, the Bible. Now, in the Psalms, which is one of my favorite parts of the Bible, this is what it says about happiness. Psalm 144 and verse 15. It says, "Happy are the people whose God is the Lord." Let me repeat that. Happy are the people whose God is the Lord. What does this mean? That means the key to being happy is when you make God your Lord. Why? Why is that important? Because when you make God the Lord of your life, you get to discover who you are, who you truly are. And if and when you do that, you are well on your way to fulfilling your purpose. You are first of all well on your way to finding out what your purpose is. Because in order to find out what your purpose is, you need to find your creator. You need to know your creator. Because nobody knows you better than he does. Because he is your manufacturer. And I think I've said this in the previous video, but I think it's worth mentioning again. I'm not too sure who said this, but it was somebody way wiser than I am. He said, there are 2 days that are the most important in your life. The day you were born, that's the first day, and the second day is the day you find out why. Those are the 2 most important days in your life. The day you were born and the day you find out why you were born, why you are here. And there is no better source for that information than your creator himself, God Almighty. Once you get to know him, you are well on your way to being happy. Why? Because when you get to know him, you get to know yourself. Because he created you and he knows why he created you. And he put the desires that you have within you in your heart so that you can serve out and live out his purpose for your life. In other words, so that you can do the thing that you were created to do. So he's got the key. He's got the key to your happiness. Because let's face it, happiness is great. It's amazing. Those moments, we treasure those moments. You know what I mean? Have you ever had a moment where you were so happy that you wish you could just take that happiness and bottle it and just store it somewhere so that at the times when life is beating you up and is leaving you busted and disgusted and wrecked beyond repair, that you can just go to that place, open up that can, open up that bottle, and just take in some happiness, man. Of course, we have those moments. But I'm giving you the key. I'm telling you that you can have way more of those moments if you just tap into your creator. Because he is the one who brings true happiness. The things of this world bring fleeting happiness. And just for reference, that performance that I told you about earlier, that performance was for him. It was for him. It was for my creator. Yes, there were people there and they were clapping, they were applauding, they were making noise. Great. But my greatest pleasure came in knowing that I was giving him the glory in that moment. That I was doing something that he had put in my heart to do. That's what gave me the real joy in that moment. That's what really made me happy in that moment. I mean, was it nice getting applause and standing ovations and an encore and all that? Of course it was. I enjoyed that greatly. But nothing made me happier than knowing that I was doing the thing that I was supposed to do, the thing that I was created to do in that moment. That moment had been planned by my creator way before I existed. And all I had to do was execute. And boy, did I execute. Question is, what are you executing that will lead to your happiness? Because it's in the execution of the thing that you've always desired to do. It's in you. You know it. You know it's in you. And you know what it is. And if you're not sure of what it is, you at least have an idea. You have a clue of what it is. Do that thing. Pursue that thing. Pursue the will of your creator. Oh my goodness. And he will show you things that you never knew. Now, I want to give you another passage very quickly, still in the book of Psalms. Psalm 37. I just want us to go there quickly because this is so powerful as well, and it's really going to help you in your journey to pursue not happiness, but to pursue purpose, to pursue His will for your life. Psalm 37, and I want us to read verse 4. Verse 4 says this: Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Come again? Delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. The key is delighting yourself in the Lord. The key is getting excited about the things that the Lord has put on your heart to do. If you're looking for happiness, if you're looking for the desires of your heart to be fulfilled, you've got to tap into your creator. And you don't just tap into your creator, you immerse yourself into your creator. You form a relationship with him. You bond with him. You get to know him. And in that process, you'll get to know him. And he will give you desires that you never imagined. And you will be fulfilled beyond anything that you could ever imagine. So that's the question. The question is, are you going to pursue purpose or are you going to pursue happiness? Do you want to live a life that is fulfilled or do you want to live a life of misery? Because I guarantee you, the quickest way to live a life of misery is to seek happiness, is to pursue happiness. Because you will never be happy until you do the things that you were created to do, until you discover the things that you were created to do, until you work towards becoming the best version of yourself possible. It's then and only then will you experience true happiness. So I want to encourage you today. Get to know him, walk with him, challenge yourself to become a better person. Challenge yourself to do the things that scare you, the things that you feel you cannot do. And then invite him and say, I'm going to trust you, Lord, to do these things so that when it's all said and done, not only will I be happy, but you will get the glory as well. And I also want to mention this quickly before I go. Happiness is also a state of being. Now, this is a video for a different day, but I want to leave you. It's also a state of being. It's a decision that you make. You can decide to be happy. in spite of anything and everything that might be going on around you. You can decide that I am going to be happy. I am going to appreciate the life that I have. I am going to appreciate my family. I am going to appreciate the career that I have. I'm going to appreciate the house that I live in. I'm going to appreciate the shelter that I have, the food that I have. All these things can lead to happiness. And once again, it's a result. It's still a result. It is not something to be pursued, but it is something that comes as a result of a bigger pursuit. I feel like making a controversial statement, but I won't. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it there for now. But I do want to remind you that don't fall into the trap. Don't fall into the trap of this world of seeking happiness, at times at your own expense. There are people who do things that are against everything they stand for simply because they want to be happy. Don't be that person, because it always ends in tears. It always ends in misery. All right, I'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much for lending me your ears. And remember, don't stress, because you are blessed and you are loved by the one above.